Standing pillars are nothing more than what we always talk about, taking the pillar position from the ground and bringing it up into a standing position. Once we get into a standing position, we have options in regards to the base of support we want to use. There are several bases of supports you can use. Let me take you through all the different variations of doing standing pillars. First of all, we can go ahead and go into a parallel stance. In that fashion, we can go up overhead, and then we can also go ahead, position ourselves here, and do a static, stabilizing standing pillar. We can go into a staggered stance, either with the far foot from the attachment in front, or the closest foot in front. You will notice that there's a big difference which way base of support you do. You can also go into a staggered stance here, which is going to be a very stable position to go ahead and do your standing pillars. We can go to a double kneeling position, which then allows us to go ahead, shorten up the lever arm, and allow us to give our trunk a much better chance of stabilizing. We can go to a half kneeling position and work the same positions here and here. Because we're to half kneeling, we can go to going to a staggered stance down to a kneeling stance and having to work a little bit of dynamic movement while we're doing an isometric pillar in standing. So those are all the standing variations. Obviously you can go to single leg and balance on one leg, but it becomes very challenging to go ahead and do that and stabilize. But you can go to one leg. The key to remember is this: when you go to whatever base of support you're going to use, make sure your pelvis is staying over top of your base of support and you're not getting a lot of shifting. If you're getting shifting through your pelvis, that lumbar spine is then having to side bend or rotate, and you're no longer stabilizing it in a neutral position, but now you're challenging it in a compromised position. So make sure that the pelvis is staying over your base of support. Now you saw the hand positions we can do. Hand positions, you can start in close, go mid, go full out. So you can easily go ahead. Those are your three progressions here. Face level, mid, full out. Overhead, start at the head, mid, overhead. So those are all three positions you can then use your hands when you're doing standing pillar training. So there's a lot of variations and a lot of ways to modify standing pillars, and what I find is once you get floor pillars going well, get people up onto their feet, start making them learn how to stabilize, and let's get rid of this acceleration type band training, and let's go ahead and get into deceleration, short amplitude movements, or in this case just isometric standing pillars.